There we go. All right. So good morning, you guys, and welcome to once again our weekly industry update. This is for last week, obviously. Um, but you guys know we always start, you got to be TCPA compliant. Make sure that you guys aren't calling people that are on the do not call list, right? We want to make sure that we respect everybody's privacy and if they're on that list, because obviously we can get big fines. These actually are a little outdated. The fines, I mean, are upwards of 2,500 for an individual. So be careful. So let's talk about Los Angeles County, guys. Let's talk about Los Angeles
Brandy,
County first and foremost. For sale,
Brandy, really
property.
quickly,
Yes, go ahead.
question. There's no such thing as far as like TCP compliant with mailing stuff to people, right? They don't have like a don't mail type of deal. You can
No,
mail it because they could
you're
just
right.
toss it in the trash. Okay, good. Thank
Right.
you.
There is no such thing. Yep, good question. Um, yeah, because they can just toss it in the trash. It's not intrusive. A phone call is more intrusive. So the mail, um, especially with like bulk mail and all that, there's nothing that there's no list or anything. They just toss it. Um, all right. So for sale properties, we are down 12.7%. So inventory, right? This is existing inventory as compared to last month, right? So we're down 12.7%. Now, obviously, we are in now officially, right, our holiday season. So we expect that we are going to have a lull in sales. Our business is seasonal, right? We have seasonality, I should say, in our business. It's not seasonal. We have seasonality in our business, right? So we see fluctuations given a certain period of time, right? A certain period, a certain seasons. So our holiday seasons, typically sales go down because people stop looking for properties. Sellers decide they don't want to be on the market during the holiday season. They're entertaining their family. People travel during the holiday season, right? So from that time of Thanksgiving all the way up to New Year's, we typically do see a lull. We don't start to see our market heat up again until about February, right? And let's see, we got something in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but prices are stable at the moment. Santiago, what I'm going to tell you is it depends, right? It depends on the area that you're talking about. In some areas, yes, prices are really stable or leveling off. In some areas, prices are going down, right? And in areas where there is a lot of demand, prices are still going up. So it really depends. You have to be hyper local when you are, especially if you're, talking to a client, you have to be hyper local. I literally told this yesterday as I was running out to get to our Christmas party. My brother and his friend were in the garage hanging out, and he was like, "Hey, Brandy, how's the market?" And I was like, "It depends. Are you a buyer or a seller?" And I was like, "And then what area are we talking about?" And he just started laughing because he knows like I'm super specific, right? You can't just ask me that question. I'm gonna give you I watch the market. So if you really want to know, let's sit down and talk about it. I told him, I said, let me just tell you overall, Veron, it is actually a really good, it's a good market. I was like, now if you got a good job, if you're stable income, I was like, then it's a good market for a buyer because house prices are level to your point, Santiago. I said in most areas, house prices are leveling off and or going down. And I was like, so, and I gave him an example of a listing that I had that we had to do a couple of price reductions. And I said, so overall, I was like, it's a really good time. And I was like, sellers, if you want to sell, you have to be aggressive, and you have to price ahead of the market, right? And so I just gave him that quick little tidbit. But I just say, overall, yes, prices are leveling off. And especially right now during this winter season, during this holiday season. But Santiago, when someone that asks you that question in a specific area, be specific. Like go do your research. Okay. All right. So for sale properties overall, 38.1% increase over last month. I'm sorry, over last year. So as you guys can see, we definitely are getting more inventory, especially, and we're going to see this across the counties. We've seen it all year, and we're at the end of the year now. So across all counties, especially in LA County, we're almost 40% more inventory than we had last year. Sold properties are 10%, 10.6% higher than they were last month. Okay. And then 0.3% lower overall. So it looks like we're going to end our year with having lower sales in Orange and in LA County than we did last year. Now, it's not a lot. We're talking 0.3%, right? Not even a full percent, but it is still lower than we were last year. Okay. Which, if you remember the beginning of the year predictions, everybody was saying that we're going to have sales higher. It was 500,000 units more. And this is not, I'm sorry, this is a nationwide 500,000 units more. And then it was, oh no, we're having a quarter of a million more. And then they just kept going down, down, down. Why? Because we had so much economic uncertainty during this year. And interest rates were high at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and then now they've started to come down. But we expected that decrease in interest rates earlier on in the year, and we didn't get it, right? Because of the jobs reports, because of the unemployment rate, and because of inflation primarily because of inflation, and so interest rates stayed higher, and so we didn't get what we thought we were going to get, which is that relief on that interest rate, and it caused buyers to stay out of the market, sellers to not sell, yada yada, right? All right. Pendants are down 19.8% as compared to last month and down 0.1% as compared to last year. Again, so we're lagging the market of last year, a little bit in terms of sold properties and pendants. And we are not likely to rebound because, like we just said, right now is the slower time of our year, right? So we're not likely to rebound. We're likely to see these numbers hover around the same. All right, new listing inventory is down 27.2% as compared to last month. However, overall, we're up 9.8% as compared to last year. So Los Angeles County saw existing inventory come on the market, and we saw new listing inventory come on the market. Okay. Active average price has gone down 0.2% as compared to last month and down 3.7% as compared to last year. What does that mean? That means sellers on average are asking for 3.7% less than they did last year. However, this number tells us, average sold price tells us that they're receiving 5.7% higher than they did last year. Okay. So sellers in LA County are actually selling for 5.7% higher than they did last year. That's a great sign for sellers, right? They're happy. They're getting more. They've got higher appreciation than they did last year, right? And we were saying that house prices may go down. The reality is that you got to be hyper local when it comes to this number, because in some areas, house prices have gone down. Okay. In some areas, house prices have stayed the same. And in some areas, you're going to see this 5.7% or even higher. So you got to be hyper local when you're looking at what should you, as a listing agent, put that property on the market for. Really look at those comps. And what I'm going to tell you right now is, don't look at comps. I mean, 90 days ago is even lagging the market right now. You want to look at what's active out there as well, because you can't, just because last 90 days maybe something sold higher than what's on the market right now, you can't put that property on the market higher than all your competition, right? So you really got to do some research. Pricing a property is super important right now, because your sellers could literally be just sitting on the market, and you could just be going through price reduction after price reduction, and we don't want to put our sellers through that. All right, months of inventory has gone down 22.8% as compared to last month. Last month we were at 3.9%. Currently we're 3.9%, 3.9 months of inventory. Currently we're at 3 months of inventory. Overall, a 36.7% increase, right? And of course we're going to increase. They almost have 40% more inventory on the market. So we were at 2.2 months of inventory last year. Currently we're at 3 months of inventory. Okay. Danila, what's up? You got a question, honey?
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering, when we talk about that price where the sellers are asking for less and getting more, does that take into consideration like the price that was listed, or when people like ask, sometimes they come down on the price or whatever, is that still asking for less but getting more? Is that tied into that number? Do you know? Does that make
Um,
sense?
it does. So da, da, da. Listed versus original sold price, you're
Yeah.
saying, is it taken into consideration that it more than that's a great question, and I don't absolutely 100% know the answer to that, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
That's fair.
Um, I believe what it's taking into consideration is the last listed price,
Okay.
right? Or no, no,
Mm.
no. Wait a minute. I get what you're asking. I get what you're asking. Hang on. I had to let me change my dream. So average sold price. If it's no, so what this is taking into consideration, Danila, neither. This is looking at what properties are selling for right now, right?
Hmm.
Versus what they sold for last year. Does that make sense? And
No, I kind of, because I know it's comparison to last year. It's just like, oh, sellers are asking for less but getting more. But like if they priced it high and they dropped their price, but they still got more, than you know what I mean? So I was just, it's just
right,
in
but
my
these
mind
two
trying to figure it.
numbers, these
Yeah.
two numbers aren't what I'm telling you is these two numbers, they although they are related,
Uh-huh.
they aren't calculated in relation to one another.
Right. Because it's the
Does that make
past.
sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay. Because the number that you would be looking at is that is this next number,
Hmm.
which is sold versus original list price.
Yes. Okay. I
That's
understand.
the number that I think you're comparing, the comparison you're trying to make.
Okay. Got it. So
Okay.
apples to
Um,
oranges. Got it. Hmm.
what's that?
I said apples to oranges, like not comparing the same number. So that's why it's a whole different thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I
get it.
hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Average days on market has gone down 2.3%, as compared to last month. So last month we were at 44 days on market. Currently we're at 43 days on market. And then overall a 22.6% increase, right? So last year we were at 31 days on market, currently 38 days on market. Again, when you have more inventory, you're going to have more days on market, right? You're going to have more months of inventory as well. Unless we were in an extremely hot market and everything you put on the market was selling quickly, which we know we're seeing longer days on market because buyers, although we have buyer demand, it's not nearly as high as we expected because buyers are still kind of waiting and looking at these interest rates and waiting for them to go down significantly, right? And they're not, which is why 2026 has a lot of expectations because buyers have, we believe, gotten used to, and that 6% has normalized in the eyes of the buyer, and they're saying, okay, I now get it. It's not going to be much lower than this. I need to go ahead and buy if I want to buy, right? Or sellers saying, okay, it's not going to get much lower than this. If I need to sell, I need to go ahead and sell. Or if I want to sell, I need to go ahead and sell. All right. Sold versus original list price is 4.2% lower than it was last year. So, or last month. Last month, sellers were receiving 95% of their list price. Currently, they're receiving 91% of their list price, okay, in this month. So, something must have happened where a property sold for much less than the original list price. Okay. Now, overall, year over year comparison, there's only a 1% decrease. Last year, sellers were receiving 97% of their list price. Currently, sellers are receiving 96% of their list price. Okay. Which I mean, again, is a great number. Sellers are in the upper 90s in terms of what they're receiving. And you guys remember, we are the influencers, if you will, over this number, right? If your sellers listen to you, then when you price the property, you've got to be really, really dead on how how you price your properties because we're the ones that have the influence over this, right? Your seller could look at you and say, well, you told me to price it like that, right? If it's not selling. So we gotta be really careful and do good analysis when we're pricing properties. Tracy, you had a question?
Yes. I wanted to know, does the holidays and stuff factor into that? Like, because of the, Thanksgiving, Christmas, is that slow? That's slowing things down, right? Is that why the numbers are a little bit lower? Or?
It is absolutely slowing things down. Absolutely. And typically, that's a great point, Tracy. Typically, in these now the year over year comparison is not really factored in. That's why I like this, because you'll see this is the reality of the situation. This or overall situation. This is the right now between the 1st and the 13th. This is comparing November 1st through the 13th through December 1st through the 13th. That's what these two month over month comparison numbers are. Okay. And yes, it definitely takes into consideration the holidays. So what this is probably saying is that in December, that 91% of list price, there was probably a property out there that had been sitting, right? And somebody purchased it, or maybe a few properties that have been sitting and people purchased them, and they were able to get a deal because the seller wanted to sell. Sellers who want to sell, or I should say, during the holidays, that's where you get the serious sellers. That's where you get the sellers who need to sell. Okay. Because most of the other sellers typically, unless it's a vacant property, are going to take the property off the market, because they're like, no, I don't want people coming in and out of my house during the holidays. Right. So you typically get the people who are serious about selling. My property in Winnetka, we actually are opening escrow today. And thank God. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And they're serious about selling. Why? Because they're relocating and they're already in escrow on their up leg in Sacramento. And she's purchasing a business and a building. I mean, she's doing a lot of things, right? So that's a must sell situation. And so they didn't care. That house has been clean for a month as we've been marketing it and everything. Okay. And they live there, but they keep it so nice. So serious sellers are out here right now. And yes, Tracy, to your point, these numbers, especially the month over month comparison numbers, would be a little bit lower because of the Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas, and New Year's. All right. Orange County, guys, let's hop into Orange County. Excuse me, for sale is down 16.2% as compared to last month, and up 38.2% as compared to last year. So Orange County has a lot more inventory than they did last year. And you will see Orange County, they needed it, every bit of inventory, because we had very, very little inventory. It was the most scarce out of all the counties. Sold properties are up 13.7% as compared to last month, and down 0.7% as compared to last year. So a little bit lower than in LA County, but still lagging last year's market in terms of closings. Pendants are down 16.1% as compared to last month, and down 0.8% as compared to last year. So in LA and Orange County, we are still lagging behind last year's market in pendants and solds. New listings are down 35% as compared to last month, however, up 7.6% as compared to last year. So overall, we do have more new listing inventory than we did last year, okay, in Orange County. Average active prices up 3.3% as compared to last month, and down 10.4% as compared to last year. So on average, in Orange County, sellers are asking for 10.4% less than they did last year. Why? Because last year they had a lot less inventory than they have on the market today. We just said they have 40% more, just about 40% more inventory on the market than they did last year. So sellers in Orange County recognize that there's more competition. So their average active price went down. Okay. 10.4%. Okay. Average sold price, however, went up 4.3% as compared to last year. So sellers were a little bit more aggressive on how they are bringing their house prices, or what they're asking for. However, because in Orange County, we still are in a seller's market in most areas, they're still receiving over what they actually would have received last year had they put their property on the market last year. They're still getting 4.3% higher. Okay. Months of inventory is down 31.3% as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 2.6 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 1.8 months of inventory. Okay. Now, look at this. Months of inventory, you guys. We were at 1.4 months of inventory last year. We're at 1.9 months of inventory currently. That's a 36.7% increase. And although it is a significant increase, look at this number. 1.9 months of inventory. We are still in Orange County in a severe seller's market. Okay. So in most areas in Orange County, you're going to see still competition, right? If you're putting in an offer, you probably are still going to have competition. It's still going to be a multiple offer situation, depending obviously on the area, right? Let's see what we got in the chat. Seller's market. Yep, absolutely, Danila. A seller's market, right? And that's like a severe seller's market. All right, 1.9
Randy, a
months of
question.
inventory is nothing. What's that?
I have a question.
Sure.
Since you've been in real estate for a long time, is it always like this with Orange County?
It's not always like this. I mean, we are in a seller's market in most areas, most counties right now. But Orange County typically is a more desirable county, right? They've got more amenities. You're closer to attractions like, Knott's Berry Farm and out there in Disneyland. So you've got the attraction. So yes, Orange County is typically going to be more in demand. And they typically have higher prices. But it's not always a seller's market. They do go into a normal market. It does go into a buyer's market. Okay. So it does but the reality is the better the neighborhood, the better the area, the less likely it is, or how do I put this? The less likely it is that your prices are going to fall, or that your prices are going, like when we had the recession, right? Back in 2008. When you're looking at Compton, the prices fell dramatically, right? We saw 35 to 45% decreases, right? Orange County didn't see that. Cities in Orange County didn't see that kind of decrease. Their prices dropped 20%, but their prices didn't dip into the 40 and 50%. Why? Because those areas are still in demand. Those areas are still attractive, and buyers still want to be over there, right? And so they didn't see that kind of drop. Does that answer you? Does that, Camila?
Yes, this is me. Yes, it answered it. Thank you. I was just
You're
curious.
welcome. No, absolutely.
Makes sense.
That's a really good question. And that's, Camila, when you're doing business in all these different areas, that's where you as an agent, you have to do your homework on the specific city and county that you are actually going to be doing business in, right? Because every city actually has a little bit different, have different numbers. So you got to dive into them a little bit, especially when you get a listing or when you have a buyer who is looking to buy in a specific area. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Before we saw that Orange County didn't have much inventory compared to other counties, now we're basically seeing Orange County catch up, right? No, we're not. I mean, look at this. Orange County has 1.9 months of inventory. I think, what did we say? LA County was in the upper 2s.
Yeah, almost 3. Yep.
Yeah, almost 3 months of inventory in LA County. And then if you look, I'm sure you're going to see Riverside and San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County, I think, might have 4 months of inventory. We're approaching that normal market range for San Bernardino County. Riverside County, I know, is in the 3s. So it's higher, Santiago, but they're not necessarily catching up. I don't believe they're going to be able to catch up until later, because they don't have the amount of inventory on the market. So we'll see. That's why we do this, right? Every week is so that we can really monitor these numbers so that you guys can see what's going on. Here's the thing. This helps you guys, because if you get a buyer in Orange County, you guys already know, okay, got to be super aggressive, right? I've got to get my buyer out here I've got to tell my buyer what the climate of the market is in Orange County. I got to go look up what's happening in, let's just say, Westminster or Buena Park or wherever, right? Because I already know that in Orange County, they have a scarcity of inventory and we're in a seller's market. So you guys know, professionals now, we're equipping you with this information so that then you're like, okay, I know what to do. I know how to advise my buyers, right? Or your sellers. All right. All right. Average days on market in Orange County has gone down 11.6% as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 43 days on market, currently 38 days on market, and gone up 36% as compared to last year, which again, we would expect, right? Even though it's a scarcity of inventory, they still have more of it, right? So days on market is going to go up. So we were at 25 days on market last year. We're at 34 days on market this year, which is still only 4 weeks, guys. And remember, if you got a buyer, get them out there fast because this 4 weeks includes negotiation time and all that. So you guys, it definitely you don't have 4 weeks, right? Sold versus original list price of 1.1% decrease as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 95% of list price, currently 94% of list price, and a 2% decrease as compared to last year. Last year, we were at 98% of list price, currently 96% of list price. And I think a lot of this dip has to do with sellers thinking like, I can get a higher price, right? Sellers being like, no. I remember when house prices were going for X and they're just thinking about the past, because in the past, especially last year, the year before last, not necessarily last year, well, Orange County last year, actually, and even the year before that, house prices, you were getting multiple offers. House prices were selling 40, 50,000 above asking, right? Things like that were happening. And so sellers are believing that still. And they're like, oh no, my property is worth, and they just throw out random numbers, or they'll be looking at a Zestimate, right? Which is not accurate, guys. It is not accurate. Please, as a professional, do not use a Zestimate as your bar, as what you're counseling your folks on. Do the research, okay? Because those aren't accurate. They don't even compare apples to apples, okay? But I think they're doing the reason why we have this disparity though is because they're pricing it a little bit higher than they should. They're not probably taking our professional advice, and then they're selling for less, right? Because at the end of the day, if they want to sell, then it's what a buyer will pay for it, okay? So they're selling for less, getting 96% of their list price. All right. Riverside County is up. Here we go. Riverside County for sale properties is down 5.2% as compared to last month, and up 8.5% as compared to last year. So again, Riverside County seeing more inventory, not the double digit though increases that we saw in LA and Orange County, right? In LA and Orange County, we were almost 40% more inventory. Riverside County is only 8.5% more inventory. Sold properties are up 22.6% higher than they were last month, and down though overall 2.5% lower than they were last year. Okay. So Riverside County is lagging last year's market even, more than LA and Orange County. Okay. Pendants are up 6.7% as compared to last month, and down 1.3% as compared to last year. New listing inventory is down 27.8% as compared to last month, and up only 1.8% as compared to last year. Okay. So not a lot of new listing inventory overall that came on the market in Riverside County. Okay. Average active price is up 3.1% as compared to last month, and down 2% as compared to last year. So in Riverside County, sellers are on average asking for 2% less than they did last year. However, they're receiving 2% more. Okay. So they have a very small increase amount of appreciation as compared to last year. Overall, we typically see about 4 to 6% appreciation on average, typically about 4%. This is a little bit below average. Does somebody have a question?
Do you have the keys? Yeah.
Mute yourself. Let me find the culprit. Got him. Tracy, did you have a question, honey? Or was that from earlier? Okay. I'm going to assume that was from earlier. Tracy, did you have a question? If you do, come off mute whenever.
I'm sorry. That was from earlier. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, months of inventory in Riverside County is down 25.6% as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 4.7 months of inventory, currently 3.5 months of inventory. And then overall, a 13.2% increase as compared to as compared to last year, sorry. Last year, we were at 3 months of inventory, currently 3.4 months of inventory. So as you guys can see here, we are, doing well in terms of an improvement in inventory or months of inventory. And we're really approaching the normal market at 4 months of inventory. Not quite there yet, though. Average days on market, a 10.5% decrease as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 57 days on market, currently 51 days on market. However, overall, a 23.8% improvement or increase over last year. Last year, we were at 42 days on market, currently 52 days on market, okay? Sold versus original list price is down 1%. Last month, we were at 96% of list price, currently 95% of list price. And then a 1% decrease as compared to last year. So last year we were at 97% of list price, and currently sellers are receiving 96% of their list price. So still, again, very good. Moving in the right direction, or not moving in the right direction. Actually, we want them to be closer to 97, 98, 99% of their list price. That's where sellers want to be, obviously. But what all that indicates to us is that prices, we are pricing the properties correctly, right? That's what that indicates to us. When sellers are receiving 97, 98, 99% of their list price, it's because they're pricing their properties competitively, and they're getting, buyers are offering what they're asking, obviously. And so when we see 96% of their list price, that means that, the buyer came in and offered less because obviously the seller had overpriced the property a bit. All right. San Bernardino County, here we go. For sale properties are down 9.3% as compared to last month. However, up 13% as compared to last year. So not quite at the level of LA and Orange County, but definitely in the double digits in terms of inventory, being new inventory, or not new inventory, but because when we say existing inventory or for sale, we're talking about homes that existing, and these are resales, right? These aren't like new developers, okay? So we've got 13% more resale properties on the market. Sold properties up 3% as compared to last month, and down 0.5% as compared to last year. So not down much, right? In San Bernardino County, down actually less than Orange County, I believe, but higher than LA County. Let's see what we've got in the chat. What's the average price range for each county? The average price range is, well, we would have to go back through Santiago. You can check the slides. It has it on each of the slides, but I'll tell you when we get to this one. All right. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go back. There we go. Pendants are down 3.4% as compared to last month, and up 0.5% as compared to last year. So actually, San Bernardino County is the only county that actually is ahead of the market ahead of last year's market in terms of pendants. So we'll see if that translates into a lower a margin of solds, like if those get sold, if that's going to make an impact on this 0.5% lower solds than last year, okay? Because we are higher on the pendants, which then translate into sales. All right. New listings actually are down 19.9% as compared to last month, and up 4.9% overall. So that, or as compared to last year. So that's good. Again, We don't see double digit new listing inventory, right? But we do see absolutely more inventory than it was last year, which is a good sign because I believe in San Bernardino County, we are just approaching that normal market, that 4 months of inventory. So we still need more inventory on the market, right? Average active price, Santiago, this is what you're asking in terms of average active price. Average active price, it looks like it's 638,000 between currently this month, 638,000 as compared to last year. I'm sorry, it's 640,000. No, it's 638,000. This is December. This is December. Okay, yeah. It's 638,000 last month. It was 640,000. That's a 0.3% decrease, okay, as compared to last month. So currently Santiago and San Bernardino County, 638,000. It's a 2.9% increase though, as compared to last year. So last year, we were at 620,000, currently 638,000. Okay. Average sold price has gone down 6.2 or has gone up 2.2%, as compared to last month. Okay. And 2.6% as compared to last year. So last year, sellers were receiving 575,000 on average, currently 590, right? So a 2.6% increase as compared to last year. These numbers, again, you quoting that number because there's so much that goes into that. You guys remember, we're looking at single family residences, condos, townhomes. We're looking across cities. This number is a little bit irrelevant, more so than the percentage of change. Okay. Let's see what we got in the chat. I should pay attention more. Santiago, you're fine. You're fine. No worries, my dear. And I don't quote the number. That's the other thing. I'm quoting the percentages. I'm not quoting the number. Okay. All right. Months of inventory has gone down 16% as compared to last month. So last month we were at 4.4 months of inventory, currently 3.7 months of inventory, and a 15.9% increase as compared to last year. So last year we were at 3.1 months of inventory, currently 3.6 months of inventory. Okay. So, and again, I think somebody said earlier, I think it was Tracy, you're going to see these numbers change, right? Because like last month, we have more inventory. Currently, we have less inventory. Why? Because people aren't putting their houses on the market, and the properties are still selling because we do have buyers in the market, but people aren't putting their properties on the market because they don't want traffic in their homes. They'd rather wait to the beginning of the year, right? All right. Average days on market has gone up 8% as compared to last month. Last month, we're at 50 days on market, currently 54 days on market, and a 26.3% increase as compared to last year. Last year, we were at 38 days on market, currently 48 days on market. Okay. Sold versus original list price, a 1% decrease as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 97% of list price, currently 96% of list price. And then a 1% decrease overall. We had last year, we were at 98% of list price, currently 97% of list price. So in San Bernardino County, it looks like sellers are a little bit more realistic in terms of their list price, and therefore they're receiving closer to their list price, okay, by buyers or from buyers. So any questions before we go on in terms of our market stats? Thank you guys so much for the interaction. I love it. I love it when you guys ask questions. I love it when you guys comment. This is your time. This is your class. Anything that you guys want to ask is open in terms of the sales numbers. I invite you to, okay, to make it more meaningful for you. So upcoming events, you guys. This week we have our group coaching. We have that today at 12. Diana Carbajal, our productivity coach, will be the one that is taking care of that for us. Conversations in Real Play will happen tomorrow. And then do not forget, we have these special classes that are being offered by MAPS, which is our coaching organization, meaning KW's coaching organization. And so you're gonna see these Zoom classes like today at 12 o'clock. But we do have group coaching, so attend group coaching. That's definitely more meaningful. And these actually are recorded, and you can see these. Matter of fact, before we end, I'll try to show you guys where it's at. It's on YouTube. So you can always watch these classes, okay? But you've got like at 8 o'clock in the morning, like tomorrow morning, develop a value proposition that attracts and retains. And this is for dual career agents. So if you're a dual career agent, you want to be on this call or check it out on the YouTube page. But tomorrow we do have conversations in real play. We also have our last team meeting of the year tomorrow, you guys. So make sure that you are in attendance. We are going to have a special announcement. We kind of gave a little bit of preview last night, or spilled the beans, I should say, last night. But we are going to have a special announcement tomorrow. So definitely be in the house 2 o'clock tomorrow. We also have tomorrow, we are having the vision board, sponsored by Gloria and Diana. So make sure that you guys come build your vision boards. That's going to be right after our team meeting, okay, at 3:30. And we're trying to see if we're going to go out to Pavin's property. They have poured the foundation on the property. I believe it's the property in Downey that we saw. And I think the framing is up. So Pavin was saying, we could come back out. So I think we're going to try to get back out there tomorrow, like at 12:30, right before the team meeting. I just need to verify that with him. So we will send out an email today, and a text, so you guys will know. Okay. Oh, good, Danila. That is awesome. I am so happy to hear that. We get so much good information when Pavin walks us through what's going on at the site, and you guys get to actually see things as it develops. Like we saw it from dirt. We saw it from tear down to dirt, to graded. And I mean, he's walking us through the entire process. It's a great educational journey for you to understand how things are built, understand how the inner workings of how he's dealing with the cities, and all of that. It's really a great education for us. Okay. But don't forget 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Can you clarify on the group meeting, whenever it says group, does that mean if you're with a group? Like when for Monday? Let's see, group coaching.
Oh, like
is that
like here? Group coaching?
Yeah. Is that if you're with a team or something, or group?
No,
I don't know what that is.
It's just, you know what? We ought to change that, Tracy. Thank you for that. Nobody's ever said it like that. It's agent coaching.
I always thought it was for a team.
No, it's just agent coaching. Everybody is welcome.
That's it. Okay, perfect.
Yes, we invite you to be there, my dear. Okay.
Okay.
Let me check the chat. Pavin's classes are always interesting. Yes, absolutely. Yes, they are. They are very interesting. All right. And then, of course, we have our tech training on Wednesday with Martha at 1 o'clock. Oh, my God. You guys missed Martha dropping it like it was hot last night, her and Daisy. Oh, y'all missed it. It was awesome. Let's see. What else we got? And then the rest are primarily like our online courses, okay, for the week. Now, those of you, actually all of you, I want to see your business plans, your 135, right? I want to see those. Today in Diana's class, if you need help, if you want to work on those, please let us know, so that we can help you and work on your business plans. We want to go into 2026, you guys, with a game plan, not building the game plan in 2026. We want to build it now so that we know exactly what we're doing in 2026. Okay. It's go time right now, you guys. The statistics, or I should say the predictions for next year is that we're going to have more transactions and less agents to compete with. Okay. that creates a great situation for us as agents, but it can only do that if you are out there marketing yourself, talking to people. If you're not going to be able to benefit, right, from the conditions of the market. Okay, so I just really want to urge you guys to get really serious about your planning. Most people do not fail to or plan to fail. They fail to plan, right? So let's get serious about it. Camila. Yes, Camila, that's you, my friend. All right.
Can I
And if you
piggyback
need,
on that? Can I piggyback on that?
please.
Yeah, so we've been working on the 135s and 411 for the past month for the newer agents, and I've been requesting the 135 and 411. I got two out of everybody, and I'm posting them in my wall. So it's
Wonderful.
accountability. I was gonna start posting them on on the door. So, but I am giving credit to those agents that are giving them to me. So if you guys
Yes,
need to earn those credits, I'm eye watching. And I'll bring it up on the group coaching as well.
absolutely, you guys. That is our
Thank
coach,
you.
Diana Carvajal. She needs to receive your 135. Um, and let me see. I received, Diana, me and you will talk. I received some business plan, like their future organizations and what they needed help in. And so really that based on this information, we're building some of our training programs off of what you guys say that you need help in.
Mhm.
So Diana and I will be talking about that. But
Okay.
accountability wise, guys, we want to be here for you, right? We want to be here for you. We want to help you. Now, again, I received somebody's business plan, and Diana, I'll share it with you over the weekend. And the person was like, Brandy, my numbers aren't that aggressive. I think she wants to close like 6 units, but she's a dual career agent. Um, Here's the thing: it's your goals, it's not ours. This is your life, not ours. So if you only want to close 6 units, we're here to help you close 6 units. If you want to close 50 units, we are here to help you close 50 units because this is your life. This is your business. And we're not here to impose upon you. We're here to support you. Right? But what I'm going to ask you guys for permission this year is I'm going to ask you permission to give you tough love. Right? Because we don't want to love you right out of this business because we're being too nice.
Right.
Right? Diana and I are two of the nicest people you'll ever meet. We love you. We love, trust. Yes. But that also could be a hindrance if we're not holding you guys accountable and telling you guys what you need to hear. Okay. So this year, we're going to ask for your permission that we could give you guys some tough love and that we can help coach you towards being super productive. Because we love you and we know that you can do this. We know you could do it. Everybody on this call can do this, but you've got to do it. You got to do the work. Knowing that you're capable is not good enough. You actually got to get to work. All right, what we got in the chat? Remember about the percentage of agents who quit during their first year? Absolutely. Where do we find the plan template, the 135 or what you mentioned? We have that, Tracy, and I gave it out last week. Are you going to be here today? Because if you are, we'll give it to you. Otherwise, Diana or myself could email it to you. Diana, you're on mute. Are you saying yes, you'll email it to
Yes,
her?
I can email it. I need the email and I can email it and I'll have them here at the group coaching as well, whoever needs them. Still,
Yeah, I can't make it today. It's in person, right? Or on Zoom?
the
Both.
group coaching is both.
Oh, okay.
But I'd be more than happy to, I can forward
Yeah.
that over to you. If you can just
Okay,
put your
perfect.
email on the chat, if it's not there, then
Okay, thank you.
sure.
Perfect. Put your email in the chat. Okay, and let's see. So we talked about that. Ignite After Dark, you guys, is still going on. Here's the link for the West Coast. If you're a new agent, mid-level agent, doesn't matter. but you really want to master those fundamentals, get in on the Ignite. It's at 6:30. I think it's on Tuesdays. And it's a really great class. You've got some great coaches teaching it from all across the world, all across the nation. So get in on it. The classes don't build on each other. They're self-contained. So if you miss one, so you just go to the next one. All right. And then I can't wait to listen to this podcast today. I did not listen to it today because y'all tired me out on the dance floor last night. So I spent the night at my mom's house in Carson because I was like 15 minutes away from Long Beach, just so that I could be here this morning. Because had I been in Ontario, oh my God, that drive would have killed me this morning. But on my way home today, I will have time and I am definitely going to listen. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Podcast, and this gentleman uses Instagram. So if I had Ashley on, who's an Instagram guru, he uses Instagram. Well, she's also TikTok though. Uses Instagram to close 250 home sales a year. Who wants to close 250 home sales? Right? Me and Diana. Yes. Yes. Okay. So listen to this episode 113. All right. Tracy's got it. Okay. Yep. Maurice, give me a second. I'll get that. And then also the podcast, the One Thing podcast. Now this was the episode, not this week's episode, but last week's episode. I chose to show you guys this one because Jay Papasan is a brilliant man. He is Gary Keller's right-hand dude. He is giving us 10 books that changed his life. Okay? 10 books that changed his life. I am going to personally be listening to this because, again, a book can help you accelerate your learning, right? It can help you accelerate your business. And so this brilliant person is telling us what 10 books helped change his life. I definitely want to know what they are and listen to them. I listen to Audible, you guys. So I listen to books. That's what I do. I don't listen to the radio for the most part. I listen to books. So give this episode a listen or a read, or a listen, not a read. Is the group coaching recorded? And yes, how to find the recording of the class. The group coaching is typically not recorded. Diana and I need to talk about that because we probably should be recording it. It's just sometimes it's more difficult than others. But definitely, Tracy, we are going to start recording it. I believe she and I are probably of the same mindset. We could record it. It just may be a little bit harder for you to follow sometimes. Okay. All right. Real estate referral program. You guys know about the Airbnb real estate referral program. So this is mreanotes.com/Airbnb. So basically, with this, hang on, I'm just putting. With this, you guys can earn referral fees from your clients who decide to put their properties on Airbnb, right? They have to register with your name, and then you actually earn a referral fee. Okay, and this program, when you register, it gives you actual information about certain areas. You could do analysis and stuff like that. So it's a really good program, especially if you have clients who are interested in Airbnb. It gives you good information. Industry news, buyers and sellers feeling good about their prospects in 2026. Basically, this article is talking about 86% of likely buyers and 75% of agents are feeling that 2026 would be a good time to transact. Okay. There's been a lot of uncertainty, but consumers are feeling optimistic about 2026 overall. Okay. Especially since 2025 still was a little bit of lagging 2024. We still lag. And that actually was one of the lowest markets in the last decade. Okay. But it's looking brighter for 2026, definitely. for the reasons that we've talked about, in terms of interest rates hovering, low sixes, upper fives. I mean, obviously people are still concerned about their financial situations. People are still going to be hesitant. I'm not saying that you aren't going to have to really educate your buyers. You still are going to have to educate your buyers and and encourage your buyers, about purchasing or to purchase, and talk to your sellers, right? About selling, especially when they have that 3% interest rates. But if they need to sell, or if they're compelled to sell because they need to buy a bigger house because they got a bigger family, or they need to downsize because they're older, you know what? You got to talk to them, and you got to look at their situation and help them analyze their situation. Okay. So that you can really give them good advice, right? Because typically for buyers, if they've got good jobs, now is a good time to buy. If they've got good jobs, they got job stability, now is a good time to buy, and they can afford it, now is a good time to buy, right? They're going to look back and they're going to be mad that they didn't buy. Buyers who didn't buy last year, right? Now prices are higher. So they're looking back like, dang, I should have bought last year. Prices are higher. So the Fed chair candidate. So the president obviously has a new federal chair candidate to oversee the Federal Reserve, and he, I believe, is in favor of cutting the rate even more. If you listen to Jerome Powell last week, I believe it was, when he cut the rate, where they cut the rate by 25 basis points. They were really saying that they did not foresee more cuts next year. Okay. Or that it's going to be very moderate, right? Because of the jobs reports, because of inflation, and the state of the economy, they were really going to be looking at that. And they did not foresee like any big cuts next year. Well, this just came out that the president is rumored, okay, to pick that he has rumored to serve as the Fed chair, has voiced his support of more cuts. Now, you guys know this is all politics, so we don't know what absolutely is going to happen, which is why we're going to be following this. And you guys know that President Trump has been talking about cutting the rate, that he wanted the Fed to cut the rate. He's been wanting the Fed to cut the rate and putting a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve, the chair, Jerome Powell. So there's been a lot of that going back and forth. That's just the way it is. So we just have to follow along and see what actually does happen. Here's the thing with our buyers who are like, oh, I want to see what's going to happen. The reality is that if you're on the fence about buying, go ahead and purchase. And we've talked about this. I know you guys, this is probably redundant for most of you. But the reality is if you go ahead and purchase now and interest rates do drop, what happens is that you just refinance. You don't get thrown into the flurry of home buyers who are going to flood the market if the interest rates drop significantly, which they won't. They more than likely will not drop significantly. Okay. So, but if they were to drop to like, let's just say 5.75, right? We're going to have many more buyers come into the market at that interest rate. And your client may be priced out of the market, right? Or your client may have to be in competition with a bunch of other buyers bidding the property values up. Okay. So we got to be able to advise our clients that although you may be hearing rumors of lower interest rates or a new Fed chair that's going to cut interest rates, and I think I'm going to wait. The effects of waiting, right, could be detrimental to your home purchase. So don't do that. That's what we're advising. Okay. All right. So let's see. I think that is it, guys. I think that's it. Here, let me see if I can pull that what I was trying to tell you guys about the YouTube. Yep, this is it. This is it. Okay, let's see. Why? So I'm gonna, here we go. Put this in the chat for you guys. This is where you can get the actual, where's my chat at? There we go. It's youtube.com /@ KW Maps Coaching. Okay. So it's youtube.com /@ KW Maps Coaching. You guys can see just all of the videos that they've been putting out over the past week. And then they post them like within about a day. If they do want, like if you guys see one you wanted to see today, it'll be available by tomorrow on the YouTube page. Okay. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Have an amazing day. I hope to see you guys at group coaching and at the Q Maurice and at the team meeting tomorrow. All righty. So have a blessed day.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.